Oh, hey! I'm glad you're here. This is the final episode of Season 12. That's 12 seasons of VHS. I can't even believe it. I don't know what to say, but I wanted to wrap it up with Sarah and Adeline. I love doing this podcast. I love interacting with everyone on Twitter and Instagram. And anytime I think, why am I doing this? Why would anyone listen to me? Who cares what I have to say? You know, all these intrusive, self doubting thoughts we all have. I think of all the wonderful people I've met through this podcast as a result of me just growing up in my dad's video store. So if you hear this, thank you. I appreciate it. Because we've reached a point where if we continue, I need support. So if you are on our Patreon, thank you so much for making season 12 possible. And if you aren't, I hope you'll think about joining, because for a small amount each month, you can ensure that we return for season 13. We're doing lots of fun stuff over there. I'm writing these sort of think pieces on movies and sequels. It's been really fun to do that. And there's some episodes there as well. And we're doing these giveaways, so you can get Blu-rays, candy, hot sauce, stickers, all these different things in a fun little package every month just for supporting us there. What else is there to say? I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. If you've participated, thank you for participating. And this is it. So let's get right to it. This episode is a Hangout episode. The movies are what we've been watching, and this is VHS. Hello, and welcome to our end of Season 11 Hangout episode of VHS. I'm your host, Dirk Marshall, and I'm joined by Sarah Marshall. How are you?
Hey, Dirk.
Nice to see you again.
Oh, right. Just saw you upstairs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at VHUS_podcast. But what I've been enjoying is our Patreon. I've been doing bi-weekly posts on there. The most recent is about Hell Comes to Frogtown 1, 2, and 3, as well as we've been curating monthly giveaways. This month's features a movie that our daughter will be talking about later on in this episode, and a ton of other fun stuff. Sarah, you are Spicy Marshall on Twitter and Instagram.
I am.
What's new with you?
New.
Oh, well, that part is.
What's new? Let's see. I am getting ready for farmer's market season.
Yep.
So we always take what we call hard winter off because there's snow on the ground, it is cold, rainy, and so I'm just getting ready to start first week of March. But then that also leads us into what's conference season. So springtime, there's lots of food-focused conferences around, so we're headed to San Diego to go to the Intense Farmers Market Pro conference. So I speak at that conference about all things farmers markets. And then right after that, like the next day after that, we go to Palm Springs for a conference, Alt Summit, which is for women business owners and people. And I'm not going to be speaking at that conference this year, but we're going to have a marketplace set up there for their attendees, which is pretty fun and cool.
That's awesome. And is that event ticketed? Like, is it sold out?
Yeah, both events are ticketed. I mean, you can probably get last minute tickets for those kinds of things, but also they're yearly. So if you didn't know about those conferences and it's something you're interested in, you could do it next year. And they both do really cool like online stuff too, now that people know how to do those kinds of things. So there's always good things to check out on their websites.
Awesome. And you've also been working on a new book proposal.
Yes. So, when I am slow as far as the business goes, I always say I'm going to be chill and do nothing, but then I start these projects. So I have been taking a cookbook boot camp to get a cookbook proposal ready to go to give to my agent. And so I am going to meet with her when we're in San Diego. So that feels exciting to have had this idea for like 5 years and been kind of working on it. Not actively, inactively working on it is what I was doing. And so now I have it ready to roll, and then they pitch it and hopefully somebody buys it and then I can make this book.
Yeah. I love it when you work on the books because it's just inspiring to see you be like in such a creative space, coming up with these ideas, connecting the dots. Of course, the recipe testing. There are some fantastic recipes in this book.
Thank you.
Super delicious.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the fun thing about it. It's like, for something like this, it's like there's no risk involved. When you have like a business and you launch a new product, it's like there's a lot of money involved. You have to design the packaging, you have to pay the people to do the things, whatever it is. You have to invest a lot. But when you're writing, it's different because it's like more emotional investment. But then for cookbook writing specifically, it's kind of rad because it's like I'm just cooking food for my family, for you guys, for my parents, for my brother, being like, hey, come over and eat this food and tell me what you think about it, which is fun. Even if nothing happens with these particular recipes or this book, I'm still like hanging out and feeding my people. So it's good.
Yeah, it's great. And when you're working on that, it's actually given me some time to check out some movies that I haven't had a chance to watch. Because as I've said before, don't subject you to certain things that I don't think you'd find interesting. So we'll be hearing about those later. So if you're an average listener of ours and you're like, hey, why are you talking about all these mainstream films? Don't worry, we'll get to some other lesser known things
Dirk will get weird later on. It's funny though, because I do see some of the movies that you're watching, and I do realize that they're movies that you're watching because I'm not watching them with you, because I'll be like kind of sitting behind you at the table. I'll still be able to see the TV, or I'm doing dance church directly right behind you, next to you, because it's the only place on the floor that's not squeaky while our daughter's sleeping. And so I see a lot of them, and then I'll be like, what was that weird movie you were watching?
Yeah.
And I kind of know about them, but I definitely don't sit through them.
Yeah. But first, we'll talk about some things you did sit through.
Sure.
We're going to start with an HBO series that's on right now called Last of Us.
Cool.
Yeah. It stars Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal. It's on HBO Max. Basically, an outbreak happens. This story takes place 20 years later, based on the hit game from Naughty Dog Studios. What are your thoughts on The Last of Us?
Well, I was going into it not really knowing anything about it,
Yep.
other than that you said you played a video game about it, so I figured it had to involve like killing some kind of creature or something, because that's usually the games that you play. So I kind of thought, oh, I won't really dig it,
Yep.
because I'm not. I love video games. I love that you play video games, but not the same style.
Sure.
So I, didn't think I was going to be into it, but I've enjoyed it. I think it's fun to watch. I look forward, we're watching it as the episodes come out. I look forward to, when the next one is going to come. And I think the writing is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't ask you if I'm like not really supposed to talk about details of some of these newer things. Like I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but
we can just say that we'll be
examples,
talking about these things. So if you haven't seen them or you're thinking of watching them but don't want to know anything, then you can just skip ahead,
Yeah, don't want to ruin your time with these things, but I also want to be able to talk about them.
Absolutely.
So I think, even in just the beginning of developing the story, they just did such a good job of turning something that is a video game that doesn't quite have the same backstory and emotional backstory, but in the show, even just all of these small details of like the way that people get infected is through wheat and they don't have any pancake batter.
Right.
And like, but you don't realize that until like way later. But then when you're going back, and then they were supposed to have a birthday cake, and there was all these times where they should have been infected and they were not. And so it was just like, of course that's not in the game.
No.
But in the show, it really is developing this plot so that you are connected to what's going on. It does feel like a show and not a game. I was into that. And I think that the acting is just really good in it. I think all of the people in it, my favorite characters like died right away, which is kind of a bummer. There was like these powerful women in these roles and died real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. The game is very unforgiving like that as well.
Yeah. And that's what you said, that people would be mad when people would die, which I get. And I didn't know how that would exactly transfer over into the show, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's also really interesting because they are changing it from a game to a TV show. And a lot of the set pieces, like when they get to the commune area, I don't know. There's a whole thing that happens there with the infected and stuff that happens in the woods, that happens in, and there's none of that. It's just Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how they're focusing on the strength of this relationship as it pulls and pushes without the distraction of, marauders or the infected, or I don't know. I'm really into it. I really like what they're doing, and it's so big and successful right now that it's like Jael and I were talking, we're like, this is probably going to mean we're going to get more.
Yeah.
Like more games, more movies based on games.
Yeah.
And that's super exciting. So
is there a game that you hope they turn into a movie?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Dead Space.
Yeah, I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yep. Terrified
Just because
me.
it was so terrifying. I remember you screaming
Yeah.
and like, what are you doing? It's
Ah.
a game. And you're like, no, you don't understand.
It's really
so
scary.
intense.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dead Space
That'd be fun.
for sure.
I did have one other thing to say about this show, because we've had this conversation even way before it. And so that is that, there's this theme. Anytime there's like an infected person or so it always comes down to like, would you kill your own if you knew they were infected?
Oh, God.
So that they don't become infected,
Yeah.
It's like that with vampires, anything, werewolves, with people that become whatever these things are, mushroom creatures.
Creachies. I think that's the technical term.
Official term.
Yeah. They got the creachies.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm getting creachy.
I think, they call them something like screechers or something, don't they? Clickers.
Clickers. Yeah.
They're also creachies.
Creachies. These clickers are creachy. Gosh, well...
So, like, if I was infected, we knew I was infected.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn any moment.
Do you have a say in it?
Could you murder me?
Do we have a daughter?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
But before, you could.
Well, before, I would do it, but then I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So I would just close the circle, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if we have a kid, then that's... I don't know. Maybe we just all turn? We all get creachies?
Wouldn't you rather just all not be creachies?
You didn't say that was an option.
Well,
you said one of us is infected.
Yeah.
There's no hope.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna turn.
Yeah.
You didn't say, would you like to just be happy as a family?
Oh, no, that's not what I mean. I mean that we would all have to die at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an explosion or something?
Sure.
Yeah. I'd explode us.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
There we go. That's Dirk's answer. He would explode us, everybody. Oh, I was gonna say I love the real effects in the show.
Yes.
There's
effects.
these mushroom creatures. The big mushroom daddy creature that in the game comes out as a big person that you have to beat.
Yeah.
Because I think we've talked about it. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but then things come onto my Twitter and my thing. And so I saw some kind of reel of them putting that makeup on that actor all day, like full day experience of putting it on. And then I was like, that's why it looked so good.
Yeah, because it was really there.
Because it was really there. So really great. I enjoyed that. That was probably my favorite, like, creature attire.
Oh, creature attire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. You didn't answer. Would you kill me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yep.
Oh, boy. The rest of the year, I'm going to be like, it's just a minor cold. Which brings us to a movie that people wouldn't believe we're talking about on the podcast, but we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. This is the third of these movies. We saw it because our friend Sean Baby and his family rented a theater.
Thanks, buddy. Super fun.
Yep, Star
I've
One
never been
Theater.
there.
So it's one of those where it's like 20, 30 seats. They're all like couches and lazy boys. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, recliners.
There you go. And so we watched this movie. It's the third in a series of something none of us had seen. It stars so many people. I had an absolute blast. This is how little I knew, people. I didn't know Ant-Man got small and big. Like, I didn't know anything about this. And every single thing that unraveled in the film was a new awakening for me and endlessly hilarious. I was laughing. I was like squeezing your hand. I think at one point I was like, I can't believe this is real. I kept thinking, Michelle Pfeiffer's in this?
Mm-hmm. She's great.
She's great. She's really good.
Although my favorite role ever that she has been in, Count.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
every time I see her, I'm like, gosh, she was such a good
incredible. She really used to the whip in Batman.
Well, she took such a good turn of being the secretary and then cat lady and then
I don't think she was
woman.
Ever bad in anything though. She's one of those actresses that like solid, always solid.
Yeah.
Disappears for large periods of time, I feel like, and then she pops back up and you're like, oh, you're amazing still. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything you want to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania?
I thought it was really fun. I also laughed a lot. Laughed to where I was like had tears coming out of my eyes. But I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be laughing at certain points.
Sure, MODOK.
Like, with MODOK, yeah. I still can't not laugh.
I see his little legs.
Yeah, Adeline thought that was so funny. His little hands and legs hanging there. She was like, they were like baby hands.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fun, funny, had a good time. I don't usually watch those kinds of movies,
No.
but maybe I should, because, I had a great time.
I think it was so fun, though, because it was the third one. Because Sean rented the theater before, and I saw the third, I think it's the third Doctor Strange movie, knowing nothing about what was happening. And it was a more serious tone for the film. This was way goofier.
Yeah.
In fact, 3 trailers played before this movie. The Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the Shazam or whatever that guy is, and Dungeons and Dragons. And you leaned over and said, did the same company make all 3 of those movies? Because they all seem the same. It's a ragtag group of misfits. Maybe they might pull this off and save not just the universe, but all universes. Because that's what the movies are all like now.
Sure.
We're not saving one person. We're saving
It's not enough.
every possible living thing. And you're right. They were all exactly the same tone. I think maybe this all started with Guardians of the Galaxy, where it was like, we're going to make this fun and brightly colored. And that's what blockbusters, I think, forgot they were for a long time. And now, we're getting a lot of it. That's neither here nor there, because they can all be fun in their own right, maybe. But it's the weird thing for me is I was having so much fun with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that when they introduced the bad guy, and that's the part that supposed to bring some weight to the situation, it just slowed down for me, because I was like, he's the one person that's not doing anything funny. Everyone else is cracking wise.
But he's so good at it. He is the the conqueror, and he's so good at being just he conquers everything. He destroys everything.
Destroyer.
Great role.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
Great
it's
casting.
Just I like the jelly guy. I'm a jelly guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Sure. I get that completely. Yep. You're the jelly guy. Not interested in the conqueror at all.
No, I like the creachies and I like the jelly guy. That's what I'm into.
Cool.
Yeah. But
Takes all
anyway,
kinds.
people, if you're on the fence about seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp, I thought it was a great time, completely harmless. I know on Twitter and stuff, people get all mad and bent out of shape about all kinds of things, but come on. Little naked MODOK.
So funny. His little butt. Yeah, and I also really liked that there's this part of people our age, and I know that this was already part of the movie, the ant people, that it's Ant-Man, and there's the army of ants comes in. That was already written.
Yeah.
But for us, we have this tie to it, I feel like, from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, good one,
From that, scene of riding the ants, and it's part of all of our collective childhoods. And so I feel like immediately all the people in our audience, when you see that, you're like, oh yeah, rad, I totally want to ride that ant through the whatever's happening, you know? So I just thought that part was not something that I expected to be oh yeah, this is part of my childhood fantasy, to ride this giant ant.
Yeah. The movie itself keeps doing things that maybe everyone already knows from the first 2 films, but I did not. So when he shows up with the army of giant ants, Michael Douglas, the guy from Jewel of the Nile, Romancing the Stone, I just was like, every scene's a gift.
Yeah.
Every single thing. It worked for me so well. I had such a great time. Which brings us to a film I also would have not seen. This one comes from Ryan from New World Pictures. When we did our top films of 2022 with Lindsay from Schlackenau, he put this really high. And so I said, I'm going to watch it. And it took about a month. But we watched it. And it's Confess Fletch from 2022. Stars John Hamm, directed by Greg Mottola, who did Superbad, Day Trippers, Paul, and Adventureland. Fletch is suspected of murder, and then intrigue follows. What did you think of Confess Fletch?
I thought it was fun. I think the style of humor in it is very much your style of improv, kind of rolling with things. You can tell that maybe some of it wasn't quite scripted. It's really just people getting to be funny and do what they do. And so I enjoyed watching it with you because you laughed a lot in it. And I liked the character of Fletch and the actor. I feel like he's this troublesome goof kind of, where we all know someone like that in our life that always winds up in these situations, but he's totally harmless, And so I just think And, your friend that always takes their shoes off. I just feel like there was qualities that make you just be like, oh, Fletch.
Yeah.
Like, come on. But then he's in this, like, extreme, art heist, murder on accident. And so I thought it was fun to watch.
Yeah,
Good time.
I haven't seen a movie like this in a long time. The 80s is when we really got these. We got like The Man with One Red Shoe.
Yeah.
Bill Murray did one too. Like, I forget the name of it, but these hapless characters that are harmless.
Harmless.
But like they create a little trouble, but not that hurts anybody.
Yeah, right.
Lots of tricking and
Like, he didn't murder anybody. Even though
absolutely.
everybody's saying
That's
he
not
murdered
even
somebody.
a thought in your head.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's weird because it's pitted against the serious kind of look, but yet there's all these silly little asides and throwaway lines
But I think that's just supposed to make it more like a detective film, So you have like the dark shots and the seediness, like you're supposed to be feeling like it's a mystery from the lighting, I think.
Yeah.
But I think when you're in it, it's really supposed to be more of a comedy. And I don't know, when I was young, my grandpa really liked Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And he would just sit and laugh. And so watching it with you reminded me of that, like just where it doesn't even totally matter what's happening.
Right.
It's just like, there's some jokes. They're going to solve the crime. Everybody's going to be okay, except for like the one or two people that got murdered. And then they're just going to go about their day.
Yeah. It's good. I think the Bill Murray movie was A Man Who Knew Too Little. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. But Confess Fletch, it's totally watchable. I recommend people give it a try.
Yeah,
I know it got a weird release and not a lot of people saw it. Maybe, I don't know. I also love that they just really went in for it on this. They didn't try to like modernize it, if that makes sense. And the poster looks like a dime store novel because I know these were books first, and it's cool. It's a great idea. Now we're going to move on to something we watched last night. This is Infinity Pool, directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who did Antiviral and Possessor. Stars Mia Goth and Alexander Skarsgård. A couple on vacation are tricked to leave the hotel grounds, and bad things happen. Sarah, what'd you think of Infinity Pool?
Well, I would say it's probably not for everyone.
What?
What? I know your mom listens to your podcast, Debbie. This is not for you.
Okay, yeah.
Because here's how I would explain it. I would say it's like a trippy orgy insanity.
Yeah.
Those would be my descriptive words.
Trippy orgy insanity.
Yeah, so you decide if that's for you.
That's your pull quote.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird. I love all the effects. The masks in it are amazing.
Incredible masks.
So good. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird. I'd love to watch it again because I feel like there's things I missed within the trippy parts. It's like a music video. A lot of it reminded me of that, where you like watch it one time and then you're like, wait, what did I just see? And then you need to watch it again. So I totally watched it again. I think that the main character, well, I guess there's sort of two main characters, so Gabby and James, but Mia Goth.
Yeah.
She's so good.
She's so great.
She, she's really good at playing kind of this young, innocent, and you're watching it sometimes and you're like, I don't really like this because she's kind of like a baby child, but she's seductive, and so then you're like, gross.
Yeah.
This baby child's like seducing this man. But then when she takes her turn, you're like, oh no, she's so evil. Yeah. And like, you can't even look at her anymore or listen to her because she's like, her voice gets shrilly and her face changes and she looks like a different person.
Yeah.
Except she's the same person. She's just able to do that. I think she's wonderful. I know she's been in some other things that we watched. She's was great in them as well.
X, Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah. I had fun with her. She did her thing that she's like, I guess, doing. She did it in the other movies too. And then Alexander Skarsgård. He's him. He sort of plays the same character in all kinds of things. He's like this erotic primal oaf.
Yes.
Where he's like, he doesn't have a lot of personality.
Yeah, he's more of a loser in this, actually.
I mean, in most things he is.
Yeah, that's true. But he's also so pretty.
I think that's the erotic part.
Yeah, oh, okay. I get
People
it.
love to look at him. I get it.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
I mean, they both have to really go for it.
They have to really go for it. Yeah. And so, I mean, I thought he did a great job of being the person he's supposed to be in this and most other things.
Do you remember Possessor?
Not sure.
We watched it last year. There's a part where a lady's face kind of melts, and there's lots of, like, visceral gore. We'd have to revisit it. Anyway, also by Brandon Cronenberg. Really good. This movie maybe you'll agree with me here, felt hugely inspired by or influenced by the work of Chris Cunningham, that
Mm-hmm.
did Rubber
Yeah,
Johnny and
sure,
all
sure. You
that.
love all that stuff.
Yeah, and like all of the flashing images
Mm-hmm.
and the things that you're like your brain is trying to figure out what you're seeing and then it
Yeah.
turns before
Yeah.
like it just felt
Yeah.
so
You're
Chris
like, is
Cunningham to
that a
me.
melty face or is that a penis? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep.
Could be both.
It's probably both. Um yeah, I really liked it and I just the opening shots where the you're at a resort but it's upside down and it's turning. I think it's great. I love these directors where you just realize like it's all from them. It's
Yeah.
that's what you're going to get and you don't know where it's going to go. And that's Infinity Pool and we'll definitely watch it again.
Cool.
Which brings us to Swallowed from 2023, written and directed by Carter Smith, who did The Ruins, starring Cooper Koch, Jenna Malone, and Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's about two friends who are forced to be drug mules, and it doesn't go well.
Sure doesn't.
Yeah, Sarah, what are your thoughts on Swallowed?
I had a good time with the movie, which is sort of a weird thing to say because it's a weird subject matter. I think when I went into it not knowing anything about the movie, and at first I was kind of like, why is Dirk having me watch this movie? Like, my least favorite kind of movies are when people that I would probably hang out with and know at some point in my own life
Mm-hmm.
make one tiny mistake and their lives are ruined just because I've seen that so much in real life. I've seen that in social work. I've just seen it a lot. And so at first I was kind of like, why are we watching this,
Mm-hmm.
But then I got it when there was some bug action happening. It went from being a movie I didn't want to see to being a movie I did want to see. And I think that there was a lot of really nice acting happening. And I
Yeah.
think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I choose a lot of movies for us to watch without you knowing anything about them.
Sure.
So you
This
just
was
go
one.
in, you go in blind,
Mm-hmm.
and I just had seen the image for this poster, and I was like, this seems like something I'd be really into. And the poster really kind of leans hard on the idea that there are some creatures in this,
Mm-hmm.
and well, there are, but
Yeah.
I would say it's more of a thriller with some elements of maybe body horror, but like not what I would consider body horror. Not that I need gore or something. Definitely David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers is one of my favorite body horror, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is mental. But it just felt like a thriller. It had the pace of a thriller, the tension,
Yeah.
which is hard because you genuinely like these two guys.
Yeah, totally. So that's the thing. Like, I saw these two characters, these two actors, and they would be people that were in my friend circle,
Mm-hmm.
in working in retail. Like, you have the young, beautiful boy, you have the bad boy, and then later on, we get the older queen,
Yeah.
and it's cast so well for those roles.
Mm-hmm.
And each actor is doing such a good job in those specific genres, and it touches subject matter I really like. I like that these guys' friendship, it introduces some sexuality and some male friendship and love that's confusing and complicated, and I think that is very real.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love that was in there, and I just think that I want to see gay people in lead roles in all movie genres.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so whatever this movie is cast, maybe it's not body horror, it's a thriller, but I love that there are three gay characters that are the leading role. I think that should be the case in all film genres. Like, we need more romance movies, horror movies, thrillers, action movies, all
Mm-hmm.
with leading queer and gay characters. I think that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree. Where it's not a part of the plot, it's just who a person
It's
is.
just who they are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. We have this weird thing going on where anytime somebody who is gay or trans, people use this word grooming, they misuse the word just for someone existing or someone
Yeah.
being a part of a film, and it just does such a disservice. And I think you saw something online where people were giving this 3 stars, but it was because of things like that
Yeah.
rather than the fact that this is really well directed. It's
Yeah.
beautifully shot. It's
Yes.
wonderfully acted.
Yeah.
It's a great story. I went back and watched The Ruins because of this because I was like, I really like what this person's doing and what
Yes.
they're writing and what they're putting out there. It's really worth people's time and worth checking out, I think.
Yeah, I say please make more movies.
Yes, I agree.
But I would just summarize this movie as bugs and drugs.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to go any further than that, really.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say that I did hear a story that the director contacted Mark Patton and saying that he wrote a part for him, and Mark Patton didn't believe him. And then he read the script and he did it, and he does a great job. So
Yeah,
it was
poor
great
Mark
to
Patton.
see.
He is great and
Yeah.
wonderful and always has been. And it was great to see him back on the screen. So welcome back, baby.
Yeah. Final thoughts on Swallow? Did we cover everything?
Oh, I did want to say I loved from the moment it came on. So they have an intro song. It's also the outro song. It's this song called Narcissisco, I believe is how you say it. It's by Rina Mashanga. I have been listening to her album nonstop since we watched this movie.
Awesome.
I didn't know who she was before. So thank you for introducing me to this wonderful person and their music. And I can't stop listening.
Yes, perfect. I'm glad you put that in there. Which brings us to just some movies that I've been watching while you've been working on your new book. I was watching some movies, some things that I didn't want to subject you to.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the first one is, you know me, I love South Korean films.
Mm-hmm.
I like the thrillers, I like the action stuff, I like the horror stuff. And a movie came out called Project Wolf Hunting, and so I had to see what this is about. I waited a year for it to get here, and I watched it, and I don't often talk in depth about movies unless it's the subject of an episode. I hope I'm just putting things out on people's radar and they find it if that's what they're looking for. And what I wanted to say about this movie is it is extremely violent, and I think like one of the bloodiest movies maybe ever made. I know they had like a blood truck or something because there was so much blood in this movie. It doesn't shy away from it. There's bludgeoning, there's blood squirting, there's limbs being torn off, and it just felt really mean. Like sometimes these movies can be, whoa, wild, crazy, I can't believe this is happening. And
Mm-hmm.
this was just like, it just felt cruel. And if you like horror and action, things like that, then, check it out. It's basically a bunch of prisoners on a ship, a cargo ship, and they're being taken somewhere. And there's like a super army mutant guy that gets loose. And it's kind of silly. Like every time he steps, there's like a metal sound that you're kind of like, he's barefoot. So you're like, well, all right. But all the excess is just really kind of unbelievable. It reminds me of the movie Sadness that came out this last year, where it was just gore upon gore upon gore, which is, if that's your thing, watch it. I did. I watched it. But at the end, I was kind of like, I'm probably not going to watch this again because I don't feel great.
Yeah, not a rewatch for you.
Not a rewatch.
I can't stop thinking about this blood truck, though. Like, is that
Yeah.
someone's business that they have a blood truck that they take to movie sets? Or
Yeah.
what other purpose would a blood truck be used for?
I think it just holds any fluid that you would need. But
Like fake blood, not
yeah,
real blood.
no.
Fake blood.
Yeah, it's just, I think it probably comes in sizes, like, for vinegar for hot sauces.
Yeah.
Like you get,
You get a big barrel of
a
blood.
barrel, and then once you get into too big a barrel, then you're like, we need a truck. And this was a truck situation.
So when you're like pitching your movie script, you
Yeah.
have to write that into it.
Oh, the budget for
we're-
blood.
Yeah,
for
we're
sure.
gonna need a big blood
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah. We're saving money because there's no creachies, but there's a lot of blood.
So much blood. We can't build a robot.
Yeah.
We'll just make a tink sound when his foot
Yes.
touches the floor. But all the money's going to blood.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. The next film I watched was The Great Alligator from 1979.
Oh, I saw you watching parts of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Directed by Sergio Martino, who did All the Colors of the Dark, Hands of Steel, and Isle of the Fishermen. It stars Barbara Bach, who was in The Spy Who Loved Me, a lot of Italian films, and was married to Ringo Starr, which you told me he was in Thomas the Tank Engine.
I think so. But I mean, somebody fact check that for sure. But I think he was like one of the season's conductors in Thomas the Train.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a Beatles guy, and so I don't know really anything about Ringo Starr except I think he passed away skiing, and I now know he was married to Barbara Bach and was a conductor on Thomas the Train.
Possibly. Really.
Possibly.
Fact check it first.
Oh my gosh. So the film itself, it's about an African god that takes the form of a giant man-eating crocodile and attacks tourists at a newly built resort. It becomes angered by the encroachment on its land. My guy George Eastman worked on the script. It is very fun. It's very much of its time. You know me, I love crocodile movies.
Oh, yeah. Any animal that eats a person, you're down.
Yeah, I love it. This one has really cool effects for the time. I love this when, there's some stuff on the Blu-ray that has the creative team behind it talking about how they did some of the effects and all this kind of stuff. And that to me is so interesting, picturing these people probably in their 20s at the time, sitting around a table talking about, like, how are we going to make this crocodile believable or look good on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all CG. Not as interesting as three people trying to be like, it's gonna sink or it's gonna float, or all the troubles that Jaws went through with Bruce the shark. And so I love that, and I love the pace of this movie is really interesting because at parts it feels like kind of leisurely. But when you get to the climax of this film, you have people on a boat trying to get back to the resort. They have to cross water, which of course is where the giant crocodile is. And the people that live there, the indigenous people, are just deciding to murder everyone for destroying the environment and awakening the giant alligator crocodile. And so you have just massive chaos happening. People getting shot with burning arrows. It's really something to see. So if you like Killer Croc movies, fine with it being from 1979 in Italian, then definitely check out The Great Alligator.
Yeah, the parts that I saw you watching was when there's this long crocodile bridge.
Yes,
And
yes.
you when you're watching a movie and I'm like there, I was like behind you, doing my dance church, and I saw this crocodile bridge, and I was like, who in the world would go on a crocodile bridge?
Yes.
Like, no way. And so I had to actually have you take your headphones off so I could
Yeah.
be like, no one would go on the crocodile bridge.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing you will ever do in your life. And people went on the crocodile bridge.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, it collapses.
Yeah,
and then
hey,
they're trapped underwater.
Guess what?
It's so great. That caused me to rewatch Underwater, which is a film that's with Vincent Cassel, Kristen Stewart. It's an underwater thing. Most people probably know about this. When I watched it, though, it did nothing for me. And I felt weird about it because this is, again, kind of my jam. So I rewatched it with headphones, and the sound design for this movie was awesome. The metal suits remind me of Dead Space. Like, it just really, like, I watched it too far removed from what it was intending. Like, this was probably amazing in the theater. I will say, I like the effects in The Great Alligator more than I like the CG effects in Underwater because there's something about,
You're a real effects guy.
yeah, something about CG underwater that doesn't have weight to it. And I think we've gotten better now, like The Host, where we can make something rampage on land, and it feels like it's really there somewhat. But underwater, it's still too ghostly. You know what I mean? I just go, well, I don't know.
When was that movie made? Was it made during the pandemic? Could they not?
No, it
Did
was
they have to
before.
fake it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's cool designs. It just, I don't think anyone's really in danger except for when the building they're in is collapsing because that's like a real threat. Like, oh no, don't squish me. But worth a rewatch. I always encourage people, if something didn't hit you the first time, but you feel like it should have, give it another try. Try it with the headphones on, try it maybe with the lights out, try to immerse yourself more in it. Maybe you just were distracted at the time of watching it. Next, I watched Iron Master from 1983, directed by Umberto Lenzi, who did Nightmare City, Cannibal Ferox, and Seven Bloodstained Orchids. It starred George Eastman, who's my dude. He's in Anthropophagus, Absurd, Hands of Steel, and The New Barbarians. He's just got such a cool look. Anytime he pops up in these movies, I love it. He was also a writer and a producer, and the more I learn about this guy, I'm like, I liked all these movies for so long, didn't know his name. And once I learned it, I just was like, oh, I see it here. And there it is over there. And it's in this thing too. So anyway, he's in Iron Master. And I thought this was like a sword and sandal type film, but it's not. It's about cavemen. And it's about how the first person discovers a sword and how it can break. I mean, it's forged steel. And so, or iron, I guess. And then he can break sticks and stones and, chop people's arms and heads off. So he becomes the leader of this caveman empire. I recommend it to anyone interested in anything I just said. I know it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, I was not interested in anything you just said.
Yeah.
Not my kind of movie.
I get it. And I felt tricked myself because I thought it was going to be like a wizard and this kind of stuff, and the cover's really cool, but it's a caveman.
How's the music?
It's good. It's Italian, so it's like the score is pretty rad. It's kind of spacey weirdness, but
seems fun.
I liked it. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is Legions from 2022, directed by Fabian Forte. The forces of evil descend on Argentina. Mankind's best shaman is confined to an insane asylum where he must escape and battle demonic resurrections. I'm new to Argentinian films, and I came across this just as somebody watched this because I watched something. And I was like, I don't know Argentinian films. And so I checked it out. The trailer is like for fans of Evil Dead and stuff like that. I didn't get that vibe, but what I did like is that it's got earnest heart. It's shot really well. The acting is very good. There's comedic beats that are very fun. There's lots of possession stuff and lots of like, I don't know what's going on. And I love that in like films from China, sometimes from Japan, older films where they have shamans battling wizards and stuff like that. And they're doing things with chalk or with string and all this. I don't know the rituals or the meanings behind the stuff, so it just seems really magical and cool. And same thing's happening here. Some of the best stuff is when he's in the insane asylum. Some of the other people, the characters that he's around, are really lovely and fun. And I would have never watched it. The key art is pretty missable, but that's Legions from 2022. Definitely worth checking out. Looking forward to diving into more Argentinian films.
Fun.
Yeah. And that's it. So we'll now go to Adeline's little section, and then we'll be right back. I'm joined by Adeline Marshall. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have some very fun movies to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Ant-Man, Wasp Woman, and the Quantum Mania, or something like
And the
that.
Quantum Realm.
Quantum Realm?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Well, what did you think of this movie? We already gave a spoiler warning, so you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so the first part, the weird spider thing, people, like, they scared me.
Yeah.
And then this man just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, where did he come from? What?
Yeah, it starts off pretty intense.
Yeah, and, like, there's a lot of swears, so.
Yes, a lot of swears.
A lot of the D word.
Yeah, a lot of D
There's
words.
this, like, head face guy.
MODOK.
Yeah, MODOK. He's cool. He's weird. Random face guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, so he gets called a D word a lot. Like, a lot. So,
Yeah, and we saw this at the Studio One Theater.
yes.
Sean had rented the whole thing, so you and his daughter had the whole front row. You could just jump from couch to couch.
Yes, we could. We didn't. I tried to get her not to during the movie, though, because, you know.
Oh, well, you guys could do whatever you want. Like,
Yeah,
there's
we
no one's
could.
gonna complain.
There was some adult in the back that just kept shouting out swears anytime there was a swear.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah, that was Anthony.
Mhm.
Would you recommend that movie to people?
Depends.
Okay,
Depends how old they are.
that's a good one.
like,
What age do you think people should be to see it?
I mean, what was it rated again? Like, rated R?
PG-13.
Oh, PG-13, yeah. So, PG-13. I'm 9. I watched it, so, like...
Like, was it confusing?
It
or
was, yes!
Funny.
Yes!
Okay.
Funny and confusing. Very confusing, though. Like, I did not get much, but,
Did you have a favorite character?
I like the daughter. She's cool.
Yeah.
She's cool.
I like the jelly guy.
Oh, yes, I love the jelly guy. He's my favorite! I have holes!
Yes. Yeah. That was funny. I laughed really hard.
I laughed so hard when he's like, I have holes!
Yeah.
And then later he just doesn't have holes. And I'm like, no, he lost his holes!
Probably get him back.
Hopefully he does. Like, I don't care what it takes. I like the part where he's just like, so how many holes do you have?
Yeah.
And he's like, and then this guy comes out of nowhere like, he has 7. And I'm like, so how did you,
Yeah.
why is this jelly guy asking this guy
I know,
how
right?
many?
There's ants in the movie and
Yeah,
aliens.
The
and-
ants are like this big. You can't tell, but I'm holding my hands out like as far as they go.
Yeah.
Like, it's so big.
Yep. Big ants.
So big.
Would you watch the other movies?
The other Ant-Man ones?
Yeah.
Uh...
Or was this enough for you?
Oh, yeah, if you're asking me, depending on if that was enough for me, that's enough for me.
Okay.
That's as far as I will take it. That's
Okay.
as far as it goes. If there's a 5th one...
This was the 3rd, so you want to skip the
Oh,
4th and maybe see
No,
the 5th
I
one?
thought that it was the 4th. Okay, yeah, if there was a 4th, maybe I would.
Okay. If
I
they
thought
rented
it
a whole
was-
theater again?
I like the theater, so yeah.
Yeah, big bowl of popcorn and some root beer.
That was a good one-time thing. One time.
Perfect. And then now, let's talk about a movie that's this month's Blu-ray giveaway. People on our Patreon each month are eligible for a giveaway of
Yay.
movies, candy, hot sauce, stickers, all kinds of
Ooh.
fun stuff. This month's giveaway film is Satellite Girl and Milk Cow.
Woo! Yay! Okay.
Do you want me to read what they say this movie's about?
Yes, because I'm confused. I'm
Me
confused about like
too.
most of these movies. Like,
Yeah, so
wait, first I just want to say I love the toilet paper wizard.
yes. Oh, people, we'll get to that.
Love him.
So it says, Kyung is a pianist in training who loses his heart.
Who?
He's a piano player.
Wait, no, what's his name? Kayun?
Kyung Cheon. Cheon?
Wait, hold on. Give me the thing. Let me see.
There you go.
Kayun? Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna say the letters in it.
Oh, you're gonna spell it?
Some people might know what it is.
Okay,
so, like,
yeah, spell it.
Kyuncheon.
There you go.
Not how you spell Chan. So.
All
Also,
right.
Chan's in girls' names. Like Japanese girls' names. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it is, so.
So,
I don't know.
is a piano player who loses his heart and becomes a milk cow. He lives as a man during the day but becomes a milk cow at night and eats grass.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, with the help of Wizard Merlin,
That's the toilet paper wizard. Everyone clap.
a,
Wait, hold on. I gotta.
a satellite named Ilho fell from the cosmos by a supernova and is transformed into a girl. One day,
I love her. She looks like an anime girl.
one day, Milk Cow is attacked by members of a secret society that chases people who lost their heart.
It's confusing. It's like they have a plunger, a magic plunger. They pull their heart out. I'm like, so how do you pull their heart out if they lost their heart?
Right?
Like,
Well, he takes it's their liver, I think, is what he
What the
says.
heck? Why would you want an animal's liver? You sell it for $1,000? Why would someone want that, huh? What are they gonna do with it?
That's a good point.
What are they gonna do with it? Throw it in first? It's just waste $1,000?
So this is an anime. It's
Hello?
a cartoon. It's about a boy who's a milk cow and a girl who's actually a satellite, and she has rocket arms.
And a toilet paper wizard. You can't forget about him.
Right, and a wizard that's a roll of
Marlin.
toilet paper. Merlin.
Marlin.
And there's a giant robot thing that...
It's a furnace?
It's a furnace.
And it almost ate the girl. Okay, we're not doing the best job explaining it. It's weird, okay?
How do you explain it?
Yeah, like you watch it for yourself. You can't explain it. Okay, maybe you can, but we can't.
I think we did a great job.
We did the best that we could. It's hard.
What do you think of Satellite Girl and Milk Cow, the movie?
I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. It's great.
I really think it's super fun and
Yeah.
strange and weird. The only part that is like not my favorite is when he sings. Because
Yes.
all his songs are sad.
Yeah, like can you make a happy song? Maybe if you made a happy song, the girl would like you. Like, hello.
Burn.
Burn. Burn.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
No, it's very true. Are we forgetting anything? Let's see. She has rocket arms. The wizard is a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, this like weird hog wizard girl. Like she comes
Oh, yeah.
and
That's right.
offers the cow like a thing to come live in the woods with her.
She's a pig that's a wizard.
No, she has like the little. She's not a pig.
She's not?
No, she's not a pig. Pigs
Like
are pink.
Oh, she's like a
Or
warthog?
brown. Fuck. Yeah, she's like a warthog. A warthog. Warthog. Hog. Hog. Not hug. Hog.
A warthog is what you get if you hug a frog.
What? Wait. No, that's a toad.
Oh, okay. You're right. Okay.
Okay, we're not, okay. We're laughing too hard. We're going up way too hard.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Let's get serious about this movie called Satellite Girl and Milk Cow.
Okay.
All right. Did you have any other thoughts you wanted to say about Satellite Girl and Milk Cow?
There's this one part where she goes to the park and then, like, everyone sees she's a robot. They, like, call 911 and stuff. And
You like that part?
no, I'm just mentioning it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The part when she comes down, she's naked.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't see her. But
She doesn't have clothes, and the toilet paper wizard dresses her in toilet paper that become clothes.
It's really weird, okay? If you watch it, you get why we're laughing so hard.
Remember, there's also a part where Milk Cow has a person suit that he wears?
Yeah, it's of his old body, and I'm like, why? Why? How? How can you fit a huge cow in a human suit made of toilet paper with the zipper?
Right? Good question.
What? Like,
Mhm.
hello? You okay in there?
You okay?
And he couldn't even breathe, so he had to like,
Yeah.
he had to like.
Any other thoughts for Satellite Girl and Milk Cow?
I think that's all I have to say.
Okay, great. Well, if we just did the best job explaining that movie to you, then
We did not do the best,
you
but
have an opportunity to get it if you join the Patreon this week. So giveaway will happen, and someone will receive Satellite Girl and Milk Cow, some Marshall's Hot Sauce, some freeze-dried candy, and some other wonderful goodies. Adeline, do you have anything new coming up? Anything with your business?
Well, we brought the freeze-dried Skittles back.
That's right.
We
Freeze-dried
didn't
Skittles are
have
back.
them for quite a while. If people didn't know that, we didn't have them for a little bit, because there was a little warning that came out a little bit ago saying that there was a bad
There was a lawsuit about a chemical that's in
yes,
Skittles.
like lead
Yeah.
or something in the coloring that was
Or
made for
something.
Skittles.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was lead in the coloring or something. If you ate too many, you could get really sick.
The lawsuit said that there was some type of chemical that wasn't
Yes.
good, but
Yes, a really bad chemical.
Yeah.
If you ate too many, you could have one of the small bags. It was just if you had one of those big packs.
the shareable size.
Yeah, shareable size
Mm.
or family size, one of those, you would get sick. Not like the normal sick, but you'd get yeah.
That's what the lawsuit was saying, but I don't think anything ever happened with it. So you know,
Yeah, so
it's still on the market.
yeah, but so I think they may have taken that whatever it was out or something.
Maybe.
Hopefully they did. So those are back. A lot of people are very excited and are buying a lot. So
Yes.
yay.
And those are up on our website, I believe. All of
Yes.
Adeline's Bunny Puffs that are available during this season are at marshallshotsauce.com.
Yep, it's probably always going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, Adeline, thank you so much for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
Would you come back next season?
Yes,
Great.
I love doing these with you.
Ah, thanks.
It's
Thanks,
fun.
Bunny. I love it. Now, I have a question for you. What would Vice Squad be without Wings Hauser? Or House 3 without Brian James? Would you watch Panther Squad without Sybil Danning? No. It would be boring. That's how we feel about food and Marshall's Hot Sauce. Wake up your meals with these small batch sauces created and bottled by a chef. These aren't made in a co-packing plant. They're thoughtfully sourced, balanced creations with a focus on quality and flavor. The red chili lime, sweet and a little spicy, like Gage in Pet Sematary. Or habanero carrot curry, which is more spicy and ethereal, like Erotic Ghost Story. Marshall's Hot Sauce has something for everyone, including the mildest, which is a smoked habanero barbecue, kinda sweet, kinda smoky. It would be right at home on the range with Klaus Kinski and the Great Silence. You know what I'm saying. There's also a new line of seasonings with real ingredients dehydrated and combined into fantastic and easy ways to cook for yourself or your family. From the newer pasta and marinara packets, right on down to the explosive volcano sparkle, which I'm sure Zed in Police Academy 3, you know the part where he hangs out in the tear gas training? What a cut up. I'm sure he'd want some sparkle. You'll find it all at marshallshotsauce.com. Enter VHUS podcast at checkout for 20% off. Plus, you might get a little something from me. So head on over, wake up your meals, not to mention Sarah's now teaching classes again, so you can learn hot sauces, pickling, all kinds of stuff. I'm hosting hot sauce tastings where you can hang out for an hour and just eat spicy stuff. But you'll find it all there, marshallshotsauce.com. And now, back to the show. And we're back. Well, Sarah, this has been quite a season. We had so many fun guests. We talked about so many amazing movies. So I just wanted to run through a couple, thanking people for being here and kind of touching on some of them. The first of which, we kicked off with 10 movies to get to know me with guest Edmund McMillan. I was really excited to have this conversation with Edmund, and we talked about so many weird movies.
Yeah, he likes to get weird with you. I mean, does he watch all of your movie recommendations?
I don't know. He's picked up a number of them.
That's so cool.
And I've checked out some things as well, so it's really fun. We'll just randomly message each other. Like just the other day, I was thinking about, do you remember when we watched Saint Bernard, about the guy that carries a severed dog's head in a bag and there was people made of hair?
Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
Yeah.
It's hard to forget.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
And it popped in my head and I was like, I wonder if Edmund's seen that. And so I messaged him and he's like, I have not. Should I get it? And I was like, check it out. So a new friendship right off the bat with the first episode. Next, I had Screen Teens with Alex Steed, which was fantastic.
So fun.
I recommend people check that out. Alex brought a bunch of great movies to talk about, and I hope we'll get to talk with him in the future. So we'll see how that works out. That was followed by The Chaser with Preston Mitchell. It was super fun to introduce Preston to The Chaser. That's a great episode. If people don't know about Korean thrillers, that's a fun one to kind of dive into. And I followed it up with a very different thing. It was The Ringing Singing Tree with Ryan Goland. I always love talking with Ryan. We've started this series now where we're going through all these kinder trauma kind of movies, weird, strange things I find from around the world, and he's always down, so I always look forward to that.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yes. And then Creature Features and Animal Attack movies with special effects artist Alan Holt. That was awesome. I know Alan and I want to do another one of those, so I'm hoping that that happens in the next season. Then we did Top 10 Movies of 2022 with Ryan and Lindsay. This is a big recap of the year. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard that, please go check that out. There are so many movie recommendations in there. Over 30-something movies we talk about.
And we found so many fun ones from their lists that we
Yeah.
hadn't seen or wouldn't have known about. So it's always a fun way to find new movies.
Yeah, I agree. Then I made Matt Bledsoe watch Happiness of the Katakuri's, so you can check that out and hear how much he did not like it. Then we did This Is My Life with Megan Gailey. This was
so fun.
Yeah, this was such a treat. We met her at our friend's wedding, and getting to talk about not only this wonderful movie, but that experience, and then her path through comedy is really fantastic. All her clips now pop up in my Instagram feed, which is awesome.
I know, thanks Instagram. They
Yeah.
put her on the top.
Yeah, bring me some joy. We followed that with Gypsy 83 with Carmelita.
So good.
I know, that was like back to back. I was like, this is really nice.
Mhm.
Like, awesome guests, great movies. Then I did China Strike Force with Josh Griffith. Love it. If you like Coolio, check that episode out. And then the last episode of the season before this was Robotrix with Brady Kimball. So glad that Josh and Brady could come on to finish out this season with two very different, yet somewhat similar movies. That's it, and I hope we return with an even more incredible Season 12. You're Sarah Spicy Marshall on Instagram.
Yes, I am.
I'm VHUS_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time, this has been VHS.